everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee here with yet another episode of the show, but a new series for the show, trying out new ideas. You know, we do Mastermind or top 5 rounds, or you know, we look at slogans or anything battle rap related. Really, we're pretty much obsessed with on this show. And one of the great things in battle rap are the events. You know, I don't know about you when you look back, but it always makes me so excited. As I said before on another episode, looking on these flyers, you know, seeing these lineups, these incredible moments in this history, those things that when you saw them at the time, you sort of, they were incredible, they were in your subscription box, whatever, but really they become cornerstones, you know, things that you look back on as a fan in just, you know, timeless enjoyment. And today is no different. We are celebrating one of the greatest Don't Flop events ever, probably the greatest event ever that Don't Flop's thrown. Kieron, 4th birthday?
It has to be, you know, Shotty Arsenal, 10 million. Yep. I think it's on 10.5 million views right now.
Jesus.
And so many from the bottom flyer from day 1 up to the top from day 2 as well. Such good battles. Such good battles.
And, I mean, great to have you on, I should say, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm a huge fan of the show, man. It's really good to be on.
No, and you know, I'm of that level where you recognise certain people on forums. That's how deep you are in it. You know, not even battlers, just famous fans who, you know, whatever, post gifts, etc. So I'd always been aware of you in that sense. You've been a fan for a while, then.
Oh man, I became a fan. My first battle was Einstein Chronicle. I think it was 09, which means I would have been 11, I think, which was really young for me, but I was really into that stuff. And ever since then, I think I took a while out, but I think looking back and all that and how it's grown, you know, I was pretty much Don't Flop only, but then slowly as, you know, Don't Flop has went down, you know, I've been into different leagues and stuff like that, but just battle rap in itself, even slam poetry and stuff, you know, this has shown me so many different levels of just writing.
Simon Mole.
Yeah, man, different platforms, you know what I mean? So, like, it's so good. But, yeah, no, it's given me, geez, since 11 till now, this is all I've kind of, you know, dedicated myself to in a sense. You know what I mean? It's so good.
Unbelievably niche entertainment, but unbelievable attainment, you know, altogether. But, I mean, so you experienced it in real time then. I did to a certain extent too, but I wasn't like a huge fan when 4th birthday came around, and to my regret, I kind of ignored it. I was sort of aware of it tangentially. But for you as a fan building to this is very much a crescendo of Don't Flop's first evolutionary period, really. It definitely announced them on the top stage, I feel.
Yeah, well, compared to some of the different, say for example, when battles get dropped, I think it was like the 6th birthday when I was posting every day of like different battles, and the hype was so mad. I wasn't really part of the forums back in the day, so it was just the card that came out, and like I was so gassed, man. Like honestly, just seeing some of the names, like Thesaurus. I wasn't really too much of like an Arsenal fan at that time, so I was like, oh, Arsenal Shotty will happen, etc. You know, that would be great. To think about what it's become now is so game changing. But yeah, all these battles just so hyped me. They were such great names. I'm a fan of all of them at the time as well. So. Yeah, I was so hyped for this event.
Yeah, it truly is extraordinary, and that's why we're celebrating it. This is a new series for the channel. Classic Event Rewind is the name. I know it's a bit of a cheesy nuts and bolts name, but you know that is the name of the show, dear listeners. But what we're going to do is we're going to explore a classic event from top to bottom, day by day if necessary. You know, going through each battle in order as we so guess that they happened on the day. Some aren't so clear in the middle which went before which, but you know, certain battles. Saurus, for example, flips off the Jeff Caustic battle, so clearly, you know, that went later. There's ways to date. But yeah, we're just going to go through these battles. And I was saying to Kieron before we went on air, one of the great things about doing this is just there's certain battles that maybe we haven't talked about on Battle Rap Resume or didn't cover with a guest, or maybe we have and we're just, you know, going back and celebrating. It's always good to look back, and it's always good, you know, to reminisce. Kieron, as a whole, watching all these battles, a nostalgia overload, no? Come on.
Man, speechless, man. You've just got so much good content, and I think at least 90% of the battles, depending on where you are, it's so much rewatchable content as well. That's what I like about battles. You can go back and watch it. And also, I noticed with a lot, doing this, I watched each battle twice to take notes. And the second time I watched battles, I still picked up stuff that I didn't get the first time. And that's good as well. You can pick up on things you didn't get the first time in watching these battles. But man, there's hours of entertainment from these battles. They're so they're funny. They're so hard hitting. Stink face game as well is pretty fucking strong as well, man. You're constantly just sat there, facial expression just changing every 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
And, you know, I'm not trying to be sort of non-biased here, but there genuinely isn't really a bad battle. If a gun to my head, what's the worst 4th birthday battle? I couldn't really say. Like, they're all quite great.
I could even...
No. Performances maybe, but whole battles. And it's the vibe as well, isn't it? It's the elevated pit, the recognisable crowd members. Yeah. Like, what battles, what events have that? Like, people, girls and guys you know from battles, if someone showed you a mugshot, you'd be like, oh yeah, she's at the front of Uno Lavoz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's there.
And you know what? You pick. See, if someone had started watching from fourth birthday onwards, there's certain cuts and like panel shots of the crowd. You see Quill before he even battled,
right.
And you see different people that have
JB was there, I think.
People that just start off and then slowly make their way up. You know what I mean? So like that's where they start. It's pretty cool.
And I don't want to get too sort of metaphysical, but I suppose it is a valid reason. The branding of the event. The way it looked, the songs at the start, sound graphics, the designs, the music, you know, the green dominance, the judges. It was just all spot on.
You know what? It's the small things that count. I was going to say that the green as well. It was such a great... I mean, it's a great colour. I mean, you know, green's just... But it just suited it for the...
so well.
For the... What was the name of the venue?
Oh, the venue was Cable, was it?
Cable, that was the one, yeah. Like, not that any other colour would have changed it, but green just fucking made it look sick. And, like, it's just the small details, man. The lighting, fucking props to who did that. Like, it was so good. Even just, like, everything in terms of graphics outside of the battles, like, you know, the intros, for example, just such nice editing. Everything is so smooth and slick. And the structure of the place, obviously the PIV format was so just nice as well. Everything was just made perfect. I think they knew this is going to be a huge event. We have to make this to perfection, you know, the best we can.
And there's something so tasteful and subtle about the branding, even on the battles themselves. It's very 2012-esque. Like, if you watch a 2017 battle, the chances are there's going to be some sort of heavy graphic on it, or some sort of, you know, John Doe's editing will interrupt it or so. But this is very Puritan.
Yeah, you'll get like one shout out to a brand these days in a battle, you know, shout out this specific clothes brand. But like back in the day, you know, with a hand gesture, shouting out like 10 different brands in one intro and stuff like that, you know, and even
changing shirts and
you know, shout out this brand in the intro and stuff like that, and all the brands. That's what it was, man. It was professional. It was really good.
Yeah, it was very big time. And we are going to go through all the battles, as I say. Just before we do, please follow us at battlerapresume, email us battlerapresume@gmail.com, comment below, most importantly, what is your favourite 4th birthday battle event? Who have you spotted in the 4th birthday crowd? Because, you know, I'm sure there's loads that are out there. But we are going to go through each battle, and we kick off with a battle that makes you realise that even the first battle of the card was like some heavy hitters. We had Pedro versus Enigma.
Fucking with me, you'll get your eye removed. I'll remove your eye to make you buy me food. He went out 13 man strong to get high off booze, but I clocked 12 like the time is noon. Yo, fucking more guns in my yard than a communist community. Big up my brother Earth for these constant opportunities, but this you don't deserve. Honestly and truthfully, you're gonna get burnt, blood. I'm bodying him brutally. I catch him outside like, oi blood, where's my cheddar? I'll pull 2 arms out of you.
If you actually tried to behead and dead all the people you threatened to, you have to change your dress to get all your fucking benefit checks sent to the hospital. Because if you ever actually got stuck in beef, you'd up and flee, you fucking flee. The fact of it is, this cunt is weak. Like a baby mother after her son is breached. You must think I live in luxury. I mean, I can even afford to brush my teeth and go out.
It's, you know what, it's such a great way to start off. I always feel my first event was the Scotland event, So Real Deal, and Tony Respect the Aim.
Wow.
And that started off the first event. It was Scott Early and someone else, but basically they started off really jokily, and I think that really helps the vibe and the atmosphere at an event.
Sure.
If you start off with jokes, it really gets the crowd up for it in a sense. And this was a perfect way to start off, like, you know, with Pedro Enigma. For example, you know, the first bar was Pedro saying Enigma's daughter was late.
On her 4th birthday. That's just mad. That's like the first event of the first bar of the event
was mentioning that Enigma's daughter was raped, that's just so Pedro-esque, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was so great that he had the first bar of the whole event, and it did kind of lead to that. In the intro as well, saying that he and Enigma have a lifetime bond because they witnessed cannabis choke.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Also, shouts to Mr. 13. He had the music in the intro as well. It was really sick.
Okay.
And all the in all the intros of the battles, there's a different artist at the beginning, and they're all fucking heavy hitting tracks. They're really good.
Yeah, the shotty tracks are particularly brilliant. I think on that theming, and Pedro does well. You know, he's got his hood up, he's got his red hat. More knives on my waist than your kitchen at home.
Yeah, man, you know what? There's so many fucking quotables from Pedro in every battle. But
Enigma, you know, he flares into what he is really. I think he gives a fantastic performance. Less personality than C Major. Didn't think that was possible. The beef was still ongoing then. Yeah,
I think what Enigma brings is like just you know what to expect from Enigma in a sense, and it's a nice mix of jokes and bars. Never affords food, but always has money for weed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you always think because everyone's going at Pedro for that specific thing, like it's pretty good. But all in all, like Enigma had like good clarity. Like I think Enigma spits quite fast, so he has to have quite a good articulation in a sense. And he stumbles like once around, like, but he does go so quick. So you know, props to him for doing that.
Yeah, he's great. He talks about people paying the receipt when they go out to eat. Check out the Peace Soldier battlerapresume episode for more info on that. And Pedro does Pedro-isms really from his fave film is Demolition Man. You fancy Definition Shan. and then you get the sort of more prop heavy, not very Pedro-esque helium gag.
Yeah, I mean, some people can work with props and some people can't. I don't think, even if Pedro can't work with props, it works because it is Pedro, and he can pull off literally anything. Like, the helium thing was so different, and I don't think anyone else has done that in battles anywhere. Or not that I know of anyway, I'll have to research that after. But no, I don't think
Minnesota Luke, I'm sure, has done a compilation on it.
All right. Yeah, Minnesota was sick, man. Pedro really works that well. And just as always, Pedro's really quick, and I wrote down in capitals, Pedro never stops spitting. Like he keeps going, even if he's just freestyling, keeps going, doesn't let the crowd fall. They're always with him in that sense. He's always got the control there. He mentioned opener for the second round about Tenchu not coming back. That little argument thing between him and Ern, stuff like that. I'll knock the vision back into a blind man. You know what I mean? That's just so sick. And like there's a lot of repetition with Pedro, but he just spits it so well and so clear. And even if it's just like him saying he'll rob and stab Enigma, he always finds a way to make it funny.
Yeah, and Pedro can have these flashes of existential brilliance. Only see a quarter like a crescent moon.
Yeah,
you know what? Quite moving.
Yeah, he's I think it was his Oshea battle. He came out with some proper fucking William Shakespeare-esque fucking lines. Like he does, if he's really on it, and if he wants to like properly sit and write stuff down, he'll you need to maintain your integrity. That was one of his lines, and like that's just so not Pedro, but it's fucking hilarious when it comes from him. It really is.
Yeah, he the crescent moon stuff into the solid snake stuff. Only fairies liquid, hard as fairy liquid.
Yeah.
It's
sick. Sick.
Yeah. And the crowd is heavy. You know, the crowd is hungry. The crowd's on several floors from several directions. You know, it's a real tense environment.
Yeah, he goes back and forth with it as well. He'll go like proper bar heavy and then back into the jokes. I think not far after that, he goes to what type of dad would rap about raping his child? I bet when he sees his daughter naked, it starts to make him smile. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just he just goes back and forth, and Pedro's so sick, man. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
he really is.
Changing daughter's nappy to see her pussy is
I'm gonna give you the same treatment that you gave your daughter. That stuff like that. You know, that's fucking funny. That.
And one of the awesome aspects about all these battles is we get quite in-depth judging decisions. Probably the most in-depth judging decisions ever on a Don't Flop event.
Yeah, we had Oshea, Bent Legs, Bowski, Dialect, and
then like Bent Legs waits for his phone to turn on, like as the interview's going on. It's really funny.
In fact, Bentleg had a really good analysis.
Always
reminds me that, you know, Bentlegs is on drugs, that stuff like that. But Bentlegs, I rate Bentlegs, man. That Kashmir battle was funny.
We had a great battle rap resume episode, actually. Shout out Bentlegs.
Yeah, that was good. I really enjoyed that. I think so. When I think O'Shea, Bentlegs went for Pedro, and then Bowski, Dialect, and Emmy went for Enigma. But that's one of the battles that. I wish it was promo, but like I don't really care who wins that. I think they're both doing it just for themselves, for the culture, and they gave a really good performance regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a really good battle. Steph mentions Preparate, and this is you get lots of Steph at fourth birthday as well. Every interview.
Yeah. I miss Steph. Steph was great. Steph was really.
We need to get Steph on the show.
My 25th note. Steph was great. I miss her judging, and it was a nice setup as well to have everyone, you know, around the couch and stuff like that. Really good in-depth analysis. I couldn't really see that sort of hosting an interview these days like that in battles these days. You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't see that these days. So it's so nice to see that as well. I wrote down this was only 4 days prep for Pedro and Enigma as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? 4 days preps. Okay. I mean, a week's prep's hard enough as it is. So 4 days is quite good. Enigma did say that he didn't feel was on it so much. But I felt he still gave like a really good performance regardless. I got something written down here as well that because of how ruthless he was, he makes me want to see Enigma versus Innuendo.
Right.
Like that, you know, that it's not your style clash. They're just like each other, and it would be the most fucking offensive shit in the world. And it would be that's my style. Like I was so upset when Enigma couldn't. I think it was Bonnie Godiva.
Oh yeah. Sixth birthday.
I think it was his sixth birthday. Yeah. And you know that arguably, I generally think if it went the way I'd think it was, that would be on 3 million views right now, something like that, for being so infamous and stuff like that. I messaged all the battlers to get like a little in-depth analysis about the battle. I asked Enigma just. I was doing a little recap on Battle Rap, the 4th birthday event. Do you have anything to say about it? And he says, it's a long time it's a long time ago, so I can't remember too much. I think Pedro at first wasn't allowed in the building because he had weed in his pocket, and the bouncer, open bracket, the only dog in the building, close bracket, confiscated it.
No.
Or maybe took his passport, I can't remember. You might need to ask Pedro. I can't think of anything off the top. He says that it was just still a really good battle, and he had just a lot of fun. And he also says that he felt extremely uncomfortable having Caustic at his house over the weekend. Because, you know, for obvious reasons, you know what I mean? So, yeah, he felt like he was. He says that I felt like I was a coma patient for a while. It was really weird having him over at my house, which was kind of random.
Yeah. Any word from Pedro?
Pedro didn't respond to me, unfortunately.
Wow.
Nah. But
Okay.
I think I had to be friends with the majority of them. Some people don't show up, but I got at least 60% of the battlers got back to me, so we got a lot of good statements.
Oh, excellent. So, I mean, we must move on because we have a hell of a lot of battles to get into. Another great matchup, especially considering the opponents, you know. Deffinition versus Mark Grist.
To the moon, to face a guy who's older than you, somewhat more podgy, more full-bodied, a past job that offers that easy prep route to a range of abuse from events on the news. Well, the truth's, your opponent's done research, and every scalp that you've got, someone else earned them. The problem's now, all eyes can observe, that you're just a hack job.
I'm crazier than crazy golf. You got beat by Zayn Azrael and went in an actual shock. Like, oh my god, I have a loss. So what if Zayn beat you? You've been on RudeTube where millions of fans can watch. He's like, yeah, but who's it presented by? Alex Zayn. He's like, Alex, what?
It's just one of those ones that when you look at on the card, you just say, you know, that's going to be such a good match. I think in terms of title contention at the time, Grist was doing really well, and so was Def. You know what I mean?
He mentions it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, at the very end, I think he says to to our, I'm the title contender, something like that. But a really good match. I think regardless of the slip ups from Grist is always so clear and a lot of clarity again. He's always articulate with what he says. He said himself he wasn't really feeling it that day. He was trying to overdo what he can do, sure. And he was rushing himself, and he wasn't too focused on the battle. But Deffinition was funny. Deffinition really came with it. What have I got down here? This is from Grist. Even your tapeworm's depressed.
Yeah.
Mark was slurring his words just a little bit compared to his other battles. The classic Barack Obama's going in his pajamas.
Yes. A good first round. I think he has a good first round.
He does. Yeah, no, he does. He's really good on that one. And as did Def as well. I think they all had quite good content. I think it was more a jokey battle in terms of bars, but sure. Obviously there was plenty of bars in there. But that's what you'd expect from Deffinition and Mark Grist. You'd expect quite a funny battle. And bearing in mind that was the second battle, that's still just hyping up the crowd for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Such a good battle, such a good card.
Def rocking the Monopoly hat.
yeah, fucking. Man. It was funny. I remember. I think it was on Facebook just before, a couple of days before Def and Grist. Before the battle, he said he was going to wear a suit, and everyone was just like, "Oh, this is going to be fucking hilarious." Right, really is. Like, he's just going to really go for it and really just go for Grist.
Weird actually to see Def here, because me and him do a Watchmen podcast now, and it's just odd to sort of look back. So if you know about Dr. Manhattan and experience time simultaneously, it's very much like this. But he does well, I think. I think he just sort of, lots of Oliver Twist of his dick inside, sort of like, little things there. He just says you're 55. He says bluntly, which I think works well.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny. He had a for me, this was actually one of the bar of the days. This got really slept on when he was talking about Grist getting no groupies in reference to Rogue Teacher, and he's like, you're like Rogue from X-Men, in the middle class and out of touch. That for me was a fucking bar.
Yeah,
that was such a good bar, especially as an X-Men fan as well. Such a good thing. And he played on the whole R play as well. You know what I mean? He had quite a harsh yet funny impression of that autistic child in his class.
Yeah, that sort of has an odd leaden reaction, which works for him.
I think that's one of the ones where nobody wants to react, but everyone is reacting next to them, so they're like, oh, fuck it, I'll just laugh at it, you know what I mean?
Grist, whenever we talk about Grist on the show, we admit Grist has a dirty side. You think of him as this sort of BBC, wordplay rhymer, but, he talks about Def fucking loads of animals at Crufts.
Yeah, you know what? He's only human,
right?
Like everyone's got that sort
all
of...
the pets around the neighbours were preggers, apparently.
Yeah.
Insemination?
Yeah, you know what? Everyone's got it in them. Just depends if they want to perform that or not. But yeah, Grist he's such a two-sided character. He's got such a, that generic slam poet right in your face, but at times he can be so creative and different.
Yeah, I agree. And he sort of slips up a little in the second, unfortunately. Doesn't go quite as hard.
Yeah, it doesn't. I gave the first round to... Well, first and second round to Def, anyway. Starting off with Roses are red, so is your head. Like, that really fucking tickled me, that. And Def felt like he had really good crowd control. He had the crowd with him. And I don't think Grist slipping up as much really went towards Grist that sense. I think everyone was kind of with Def in terms of what battler's side they want to be on. But again, like the last battle, this was a battle for me that I don't really care who was the winner. It was a really good battle in a sense. And it was just, it would have been a pleasure to be there, just watch that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Def plays well with the second as well. If teachers are so smart, how come it's their book with the answers in it? Which isn't kind of a bar really, but it resonates.
There's a funny story about this bar. If teachers are so smart, how come it's their books that have the answers in it? A day after this battle, a Facebook page was created with that exact bar, and there was like 2,000 likes on it. So someone had obviously heard the bar and just like, oh, I'm going to make this into a page or a meme or some shit. And I think Def just got it and just exposed them to hell. It was someone that was on the forums. I think it was like Adam Tiger or some shit.
Right.
You know? I don't know who the fuck it was. But yeah, they just randomly took that shit. That Stewie Griffin theme for the scheme, sorry, that was funny. Like you can't argue with that. How high pitched the guy gets is really good. Grist at times could slow down a little bit. He was slightly unclear. Your only body bag's colostomy.
Right.
That was sick. Okay. That was so sick.
Yeah.
There was some URL women battler who took that line actually, like literally word by word.
It's kind of a common bar though, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, whether it was stolen or not, I don't know. But like, I found it. I can't remember the battler. I'll take 3. What is it? I'll take 3 O's to your stomach, colostomy bag, the only bloody bag you had in your life. That stuff like that. Maybe not word by word, but it was. It's such a anything bag technically for URL. Gets used at one point.
I like Def's angle in the third about the Grist video being featured on RudeTube, which is incredible. A major thing.
Alex Zane.
Alex Zane.
Alex what? That was funny, man. Yeah, that got that was a really good. He got really good reaction to that. The whole RudeTube thing. Crazier than Crazy Golf. You fucking had some good. I think maybe that was actually. Mark or Def. Also, the Mark not using the letter I.
Right, the Ulapo, right?
Yeah, no, I spoke to Mark about this one. He really overcomplicated himself. He was trying to make something. I'm just going to get the message up here. He tried to overcomplicate himself by using a. Let me find the word. Where are we? It is. Hey, I still haven't watched it back. Can't bring myself to it. It's so stupid what I was trying to do. I tried to write the entire battle without the letter I in there. I was interested in a French group of writers called the... what was that? Ulapo, did you say?
Ulapo, yeah.
Ulapo. And I wanted to create an entire battle performance that was a lipogram, one of their forms of poetry. It meant I was trying to string absolute nonsense together in many ways. It was almost impossible to land punches without the vowel just to help you with connectives and pronouns. So then, once I'd written most of it, I thought include 4 moments when I used the letter I after all. I figured I could bury a message in the bars via a word in each round. If you found the words with the letter I and they'd spell out something in the first round, I had the line, watch Grist bury 4 I's throughout these bars. So the first I was in Grist. In that round. In the second round, I said bodied. In the third round, I said definition. So Grist, body, definition. And they were the 4 I's buried. The only problem was he forgot definition had 3 I's, so there was 5 I's.
No.
All that stress he went to making that, and it took him absolutely ages to rewrite something, and he just couldn't do it. So yeah, he did slip up, and it was accidental, but he was upset, but in the end, he still gave a good performance. You know what I mean?
And he loses, unfortunately, to Def. 4-1 goes to Def. Cool to see the interview afterwards. Cool to see Rizzle there.
Yeah, we had MA, Psychosis Holocaust, ZT, Rizzle, Michael Parkinson, I think it was as well. He was a dope artist, by the way. Michael Parkinson's a really, really good artist. It was nice to see Rizzle. He's the one that voted Mark. He was the only one to vote Mark, actually. They all had, in-depth analysis as well. They were really good, man. Really good.
Yeah, they were great. And in the interview after that, Grist says it's good for Def to get his chance. He talks about the pressure of the 2 million hits. And everyone, he's like, everyone's seen you do 1 gig. And it's like, it's kind of quite poignant what he's saying. Yeah,
I mean... obviously this was not too long after the whole Blizzard and Mark Grist battle, so the Definition probably saw that as an opportunity to get quite a lot of views. He wants to give a good performance, and indeed he did. He did give a really good performance. I'm sure he'd be happy about it as well. In a sense, he'd be happy that Mark kind of fucked up at the same time, because I think if Mark wasn't so unclear, it probably would have been a lot more tighter than 4-1. Yeah, it would have been either 3-2 each way. I don't know who would have took it, but still a really good performance from both of them.
Yeah, completely. And getting into the following battle...
Hey, yo, listen, know this guy. But tell me how you know this guy. He the type to show up at a gay parade and notice guys. No, I said he the type to show up at a gay parade and no disguise. For that, I'm here to put you in your place. Yep, you know, disguise. Yo, in almost all your battles, your nerdy image helped you steal the win. Looking back, was it skill? No debate, and your lines reeled them in. I get this chum tackled in a box with hooks if you missed the point concealed within. I said, looking back, was it skill? No. Debate, and your lines reeled them in. We did achieve top tier in less than a hot year and sin on a winning streak. No. That's not him, it's me. See, I plan for bullets like military. Bam could do your silly schemes, but I told you put your money where your mouth is or don't bank on this victory. I watched all your battles and got mad when finding you female bars so much you could charge bucks for advertising. Yeah. But your delivery's lacking timing. What's the point in having content stacked when you couldn't learn how to rap your writing? It's not just that. You're blacktronizing. It's like you have...
A hugely important battle, I think. You know, for wordplay, for opening up to these different things and being aware of new avenues. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I remember watching 100 Bulletz versus Bamalam and having like this right lobe of my battle brain turn on, and I was like, holy shit, there's all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, it was a gateway. Yeah,
this was the I think Bamalam won the Hunger for More tournament. And he I think he wanted Sharon actually, but I think he gave like two different names, and he got 100 Bullets. This was like, for me, it was hard to jot down some notes. I had so much pleasure watching Bamalam just keep going, and same with 100 Bullets, regardless of the choke he had. Well, the couple of stumbles he did have, you know, Killer Watts, you know, he had a British band scheme in the first round as well. Like, he was coming with schemes on top of schemes, and that's what you expect. You know, Bulletz is very good with schemes. It was also weird forgetting that Bamalam didn't have the afro.
Yeah,
you know, you got the big hair, you know. But yeah, I think this was arguably one of Bamalam's standout performances.
Yeah, the first international of the day, battle free of the day. As you say, he has the rock band scheme. He has the Joel Watts' his name. See Watts in Flames, 65. I remember being very impressed by What's Your Conduct Or in that whole sort of electrical scheme.
Yeah, he had. Well, when you've got Watts, you know, you have to go into that sort of that wordplay in those schemes. He just played it so well. Your primitive bullets, that's archery, man. That was such a fucking lush
huge bar, isn't it? Huge.
Yeah. You know what? And that's the thing. It's only 5 words, and it's such a hard-hitting punchline.
Memorable.
Yeah. I wasn't too sure if I could... I can't remember the bar, but Bulletz had done a slow it down 12 different times on one bar.
Right.
And... I can't remember the bar, so I should have wrote it down, man. But he kept going back to it and back to it. And it wasn't getting too much reaction until he kept going with it and changing it, and then it kind of picked up a little bit more. Another scheme was the football scheme, where he mentioned 24 different references.
Yeah, I'm always confused by no one in your villa reel. Is he saying, like, what, your apartment?
Maybe, like... Well, you know, obviously villa means, like, house and shit. I don't know.
Better check yourself is explosive though.
Oh god.
Missing Eto.
Yeah, he fucking. There's just he's just so many. But to be honest, I think that was such an impressive scheme in the end. But what cancelled it out was Bamalam just saying, you know, you've been playing FIFA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if it cancels it, but I know what you're saying. I think it's effective. Yeah. Definitely.
It takes a little bit away, but in the end, it was still a sick... I mean, I think he had to do like 4 different reloads, you know what I mean? Like, it was really resonating with the crowd.
And the whole Watson elementary backwards punchline stuff is, you know, insane.
Yeah. I think he came with Bama a little bit... I think it was the beginning of his second. If you have to repeat the punchline to explain it, we automatically discredit it. Which is, I agree with a little bit. It sort
close
of
reading,
a little.
You know. Sometimes you need to listen. It's a style of battle rap, but yeah, I get.
He said Canada's black unanimous. That's quite funny.
He compared Bam compares him to Ayrton Senna.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think a lot of people. There wasn't too much reaction to that. I don't think a lot of people knew.
Not a lot of F1 heads in the building.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No. Bulletz says he's top 5 on King of the Dot Don't Flop on Xbox Live. And then we get. I think people, Kieron, in Battle Rap get too hung up on chokes personally. I think they do need to be punished, but I think when you've had 2 quality rounds like Bulletz has had on a new stage so effectively, so generously received, you can forgive him for quite an ugly sort of double choke third.
Yeah, listen, to be honest, whenever there's a choke, I'll always remember he choked in that round. I don't discredit the battle, I just discredit the round. I don't feel it's fair to have such creative and great hard-hitting 2 rounds, and then to stumble in the third was a shame, because it would have been a lot closer. But you can't discredit it. But yeah, I think Bulletz discredits himself a little bit for saying Bam should have picked someone else. He's like, oh, you really should have picked someone else. I mean, I don't know if that means like you're not on my level, or vice versa, or oh, I can't be fucked with this battle, etc. But like, it was just, I don't know what to make of it. But Bulletz choking filler makes it pen colder than the biochemist with a PhD in kinetics. Oh, fucking bar. Man, that was one of those stink.
But then he's like, what do I say, guy? And Bam's like, I don't really care, to be honest. And it's like, really damn. It's like I'm not jealous of that one. Sort of passe haymaker.
Big up Kruger, man. Big up Kruger. That's sick.
Bam does enough really to win the third and in essence win the battle. Personally, I think Bulletz won. If you're getting hung up on judging stuff, like I say, I'm impressed more by his opening 2. That's not to say that Bam isn't great, but I don't know.
Yeah. In a sense, I never feel, and I noticed this mainly from Bamalam versus Briggsy, that the crowd is never really with Bamalam. Like, they are in a little bit, but they're never really hyped for him. I don't know if that. Oh God, man! Dialect for sure, but in terms of acapella battle, they're a little bit slept on. You notice it a lot. Yeah, you notice it a lot with Cystic and Bamalam. They had some fucking crazy bars, and like they really went with it. But I think with how Bulletz was choking a little bit, they then kind of really went for Bamalam in the third and were really up for what he was saying. But I agree in a sense that I personally think that Bulletz had better material, but taking away the choke and all that, and how pristine Bamalam's performances was, you really can't say there was 2, one-sided in a certain way. It was a good battle regardless. Voice doesn't match the body like Old English. That's fucking right. That's fire. That's fire. If you know what Old English looks like, you think, oh really? But like, nah, big up Old English as well. He's sick. He's sick.
Bulletz ain't real as they checked and let them through customs.
Yeah, that was the last note I got there. That was heavy. That was really fucking heavy.
Did you talk to these guys?
Bamalam was meant to get back to me. He didn't get back to me.
Sure.
But Bamalam's a fucking busy guy, you know.
Hell yeah.
He's hella busy. I messaged 100 Bulletz as well, but he didn't fucking get to it. But regardless, was there judging on this?
I don't think there was. I don't think you see it. Maybe you don't. I'm not sure.
I don't know why. I
haven't made notes on it, so maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe so.
I missed it.
So we'll go to the next battle quickly to avoid more embarrassment. Deffinition and Soul versus Chris Leese and Zen.
You don't have bars, so comparing yours to mine, homie, with the metaphors I write, you ain't getting pulled tonight. Man, you best to fall behind, hedge your bets and form a line. With several swords I strike you, what your intestine organs are like. You ain't bigger than a blizzard, but you set for stormy skies. Respect now you're denied, cause Zen is more than shite. And homie, it's where the fuck did Devil draw the line?
You two faggy nerds don't want to open up this can of worms. You should use this time to apologise to the fans and Earth for every single crappy verse you have rehearsed for Canada, cause like a bad detergent you couldn't handle dirt.
Now bitch, I dare you jump up and try and get livid and raw. I just wait for your bitch to get birth, then I'll take a trip to the ward. Make sure I'm equipped with either a shiv or a sword, cut a umbilical cord and swing a newly born dead deformed baby's head at the wall.
Which is a demo battle. It's a 32,000 view battle. Am I wrong in thinking, because I quite enjoy this battle quite a lot, am I wrong in thinking it's demo channel because was like salty?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I think that back in the day, if you really kept with demo battles, really poor battles went on, like hella poor battles went on. I don't feel this was bad enough to go onto the demo battles channel because it was still funny. Like there was a lot of funny moments in this battle. I'm right in saying as well, I think someone was meant to battle Archaic. I think it was Leese.
It was Chris Leese,
it was meant to battle Archaic and didn't. And I think he was a bit salty in the judging with Steph as well, because obviously, like really upset with it. What fucking really made me laugh about not starting to the very end, but like basically, Def and Soul really, they have good chemistry, and because back in the day they were like really fucking tight. They had good chemistry just as well as much as Zen and Leese did, but Zen was stumbling quite a bit. I didn't really get. It took away from the performance a little bit because he was choking. Like the first bar he did was choked, and I think in terms of how funny Def and Soul was as well, I think Def straight up calls Zen decaffeinated.
Yep.
So
let me take you to the corner shop.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
There's a lot of physical interaction in this battle. A lot of touching, a lot of pushing, a lot of spitting in each other's faces.
Yeah, Zen especially. Zen likes to.
Talk about Soul and Leese.
Oh, Soul and Leese.
They have that sort of raspberry off.
You know what? I think at one point Soul was like halfway going to swing for someone at one point, and he was like, nah, you know what? Fuck, I'm not going to go into that. If I was battling, I wouldn't want to get proper touched up and feel. It's a bit, you're in your space and whatnot. You can get in someone's face, but getting all fucking like evil does to people. You know what I mean? Just like fucking touching. It's a bit weird, but they took it well, I guess. They didn't get too pissed off. I wrote down that Zen always finishes opponents' lines. Leese's Scottish impression. Every other Scottish impression, I think, here we fucking go. That was funny. Like Leese really fucking. He just went for it.
It goes from funny to like horrific at the end. Like his son's getting gruesomely, brutally murdered. Like
fucking deep.
Love that line. Like he delivers it with such spiel. Love it.
Yeah. This is one thing I fucking rate Chris on as well, is how quick he can go. Like if you've seen that track he did with Joe Madden, I think it was, everyone was giving like mad hate. But like in battles when he's spitting so quick, the crowd go for it, man. The crowd really like fuck with him. And for what he spits, how clear he spits it, how fast he does it at the same time, it's really essential to his performance.
And it's just cool to see Soul here at 4th birthday. Obviously becomes a bit notorious on day 2, but here to see him with Def, being a good team. I think they say in the interview afterwards they're here, or I might say at battle they're here for just a 4th birthday wristband sort of thing. It's a free weekend, so to say. But there's still some Soulisms. There's still some real out of this world, out of this thinking sort of wordplay. The whole kebab shop sequence, like Zen as this sort
of Madonna.
Yeah, Zen as this charity child. From what's he doing with Madonna to what's he doing with Madonna, like it's quite electric.
I got after that. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Dev. I think it was Zen or Leese headbutted Seuss when he was 15.
Yeah, he did.
I can't. I can't remember who did it though. I can't remember who. I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Was it Leese or
was
it someone else?
It was Leese.
Yeah, I ain't seen it. When he was 15 though, that's a bit fucking. That's a bit out there.
Yeah.
I just wrote other notes about how Zen and Leese were getting very deep and very fucking, mythical dragons, this, that, and the next. Soul's flip of just going to Soul and then going in his face.
Yes,
that was quite funny.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that is the disrespect. It's crazy. Yeah. But
it was so childish, but at the same time, like you can't take that serious. You just have to laugh at that. It's quite funny.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's kind of because Leese had done it just prior, basically at the end of their round, so it's just Soul going toe for toe in that sense. But it's quite interesting to see, and Zen as well in the 3rd. I think his freestyle multis taking places that necessarily sometimes you don't want to go, and sometimes that are quite successful. When he says your metaphor's a megaforce, you look like a lesbian Skeletor going through menopause.
You know what? It's just that's Zen. You know what I mean? Zen can freestyle. He really can freestyle, but I think it was good because Zen's writtens weren't really popping off as much, so I think he had to bring that element of freestyle to kind of impress, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the interviews you mentioned prior. The interviews you mentioned prior is hilarious. You know, I have to say, like, you know, just the way that Leese,
they were so pissed off.
I mean, well, let's start with Soul and Def, who, you know, Def doesn't think they won. He says that straight away. Soul disagrees wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Soul felt no pressure. Yeah. The bits that didn't go well, Soul didn't write. And then we cut to Chris, Leese, and Zen, who are the antithesis. They are angry. They are pissed.
Oh, man.
You feel like Chris is leading here, and Zen is kind of covered by this. Because, as you say, Zen had a little flop here and there.
Yeah, I think if they really watch back, they would probably agree that sometimes you have to look at how they performed and how the stumbles, the chokes, etc. People would take away from the battle and for what they've done, but it's just cringy. It's so cringy. I mean, obviously, Archaic. I think Leese was probably pissed off the fact that he couldn't battle Archaic, so he had to rewrite for something else. So he's probably pissed off in the first part. But I mean, you know, his life's not over. I always say it's just a battle, but that's coming from someone who doesn't battle and who doesn't have the heart for it, as for example, Chris would. So I don't want to say, oh, he shouldn't have reacted that way, but I mean, it was funny. It was like I laughed at it. I didn't take it like how Zen and Chris was. It was just funny.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's extremely entertaining. Chris Leese is going to go home after this. He says he's going to get the train. So, you know, but Zen is looking forward. Zen is looking forward to day 2, and it's all a bit of an angry interview, as Steph acknowledges. And we get to our first battle that has 1 million views from this event. This is Uno Lavoz versus Dekay.
My bars like gun delivery. I come to pull it quick. I feel to strangle you till you choke worse than 100 bullets did. Swear down, Uno, cause man, you a bitch. You so skinny I could probably strangle you with this green band's on my wrist. Look.
I will kick this bitch the fuck out. She talking about my mom didn't give me attention. Ain't you the one who end up homeless because your parents kicked you the fuck out? And plus all that extra shit talking about some bitch named Mystique, well, I ain't fucking with that. You said some shit like, I was very material.
Rewatching this, I hadn't seen this for a while before we did the episode, and you're taken aback by how short Dekay's rounds are in comparison, and they're just not quite as effective.
Yeah, when I first watched it the very first time, I thought Dekay personally had the performance of the day. For some reason, I was just really fucking with what Dekay brought. And I think in a sense, Dekay did break down Uno, and she was really hard hitting. And especially what really got me was she referenced 100 Bullets choking in her very beginning, her opening line. So that got the crowd really going. And in fact, I think she had 2 freestyle bars in the first. Getting into battle rap thinking it's going to save you, bitch. You only in this for the attention your mother never gave you. You know what I mean? Your girlfriend's Mystique still fucks with the X-Men, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got the outline but no content, your bars only silhouettes. Like, she did have a lot of quotables, but when I was watching it, I was just thinking, fucking hell, Uno was so funny. Like, Uno was just clowning on Dekay, like, really was going for it.
Yeah, he was, and I think he played a lot of identities as well, and he went to certain places that worked for him. He touched on a lot of areas that were knowledgeable. You know, like, I don't think he got the chance to have a go at a post-homeless woman, so it's kind of, it gave him an outlet in that certain sense. You know, homeless, he thinks she could think outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, he's disrespectful as shit, as he says, and I think I don't necessarily agree with what he says politically, quote unquote, but it works, I think. And probably the most women that have ever been in a Don't Flop event ever are in the front row of this battle.
Yeah, I fucking clocked onto that. You know, it was when he was getting really just fucking deep, and it was everyone was laughing around them, but the women's faces were just fucking stone. Like, they were not moving whatsoever. They really weren't fucking with it. But like, and then in reverse, the girls were like, not favourite wise, but really fucking with what Dekay was saying and stuff like that. I think one of the funniest bits for me was when she said, "Your mum looks like Buju Banton," And if you don't know, that's a Jamaican reggae artist, you know, so you can only think what they look like.
Sure.
Think outside the box reference, as you said, yeah, it was really good. I don't know if it was bitten from somewhere. I think I heard it before, but the whole intense thing.
Yes, it's been around, but yeah, still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then of course every end of the round was, you know, get your ass back in the kitchen, which was just, you know,
yeah,
well,
a sandwich coda of sorts that leads us out. And just as I say before, I just don't think Dekay has enough material here. I think if you put them side by side on the pie chart, you'd be overwhelmed by Uno's slice. And he goes further. You know, rounds are cut short on him, but he keeps going. Whereas Dekay sort of, you know, sums up and stuff. And her sort of, I don't know. I like Dekay a lot. I don't think this is necessarily one of her best performances, even though it's celebrated as such. I prefer what Uno does here, and he does the clapping. He does the hark back to the old Dope appearances.
Oh, that
people rock with that.
Yeah, definitely. Dekay had told me she doesn't think she has any anecdotes for me that she can remember.
Sure.
It was so long ago. From my point of view, I'm glad I did it, as it was my highest viewed battle. But I think I approached it in the wrong way. It would have probably have been more entertaining if I just freestyled it.
Right.
So she was thinking she should have just came with a lot more freestyles. And if you compare some of her freestyles that she did in the battle to some of the writtens, the freestyles were popping off a lot more, and Dekay can freestyle. Like, Dekay has got some fucking wicked ability to freestyle, but she herself doesn't agree with the approach she took. And yeah, looking back on it, but obviously when I was watching, I was thinking, she's popping, she's fucking going for it. And for ages, that was the one battle I watched, mainly for Uno, in all fairness, because it was so funny. But I really did appreciate the bars she did. But as you were saying, in terms of how short the rounds were, the fact that she wasn't very comfortable with what she was saying and she should have just freestyled, you know, she wasn't too, but she had some funny, I think she ended the round saying, "You Corona drinking cunts."
Yes.
Some of the stuff, Uno, that Soul Train rebuttal was fire. That was so good. Coat hanger, Plan C, the whole that Eddie Murphy thing that you mentioned as well. That reserved parking at an abortion clinic.
Yes.
That's fucking mad. That really is. Funny. That's just funny. That's right on my street. I like that dark, wicked humor. You know what I mean? That's just fucking. You can't take it serious. Mum's like a water bottle rinsed and refilled.
Right.
You know, rinsed and refilled.
Sure.
I think the whole clap ball sack stuff as well. That really worked. The crowd loved to get involved in a battle, and they really did there. That reference, I think it was Dekay on the streets of Philadelphia, the whole Bruce Springsteen thing as well. She had it going. But yeah, fucking great battle. I would give it... when I was first watching it, I was going to give it 2-1 to Dekay, but you actually have to give it to Uno and how fucking well he did. And in all fairness, I'm not actually that big a fan of Uno, but I've watched all his battles, not all his battles, but the majority of his battles. I would say this is arguably top 2, maybe, of his other battles. Like, he's... He came with good material, and that's exactly what you expect from Uno, especially against a female MC as well.
I mean, fair to say Uno's had some of his best ever performances on Don't Flop.
Don't Flop, yeah. Maybe not so much against Crisis, but...
Right.
That was fun. You know, the whole Oshea thing was funny, but Uno's had good battles on Don't Flop.
His earlier, his earlier movements. But
you ever seen that video of him going against the swan? I think it's a swan or a duck.
No, I've seen. I've seen Dekay going against a swan, not Uno.
No. Oh man,
they both have swan videos.
Yeah, he goes up to the swan and takes out this measuring tape, and he goes, "You got a really long neck," reference to the Lunar Sea battle.
Right.
And it's just this swan. I think it's I don't know if it's on YouTube. I think it might be on YouTube. If it's not, it's definitely on Facebook somewhere, maybe Earth's page or something. But yeah, it's
someone comment that below, please. I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to see
it's a funny, man. I'll try to find it. I'll link you after this is done.
Okay.
Funny
Uno says at the end, you know, Don't Flop has the best crowd. Other crowds need to take note, which is great for him to say. And he does. He's a sort of battler that feeds off that sort of stuff, and it works to his advantage. We get into the penultimate battle of day one, an incredible battle, a battle that really lived up to what it, what it could be. It wasn't exactly the battle that Sensa wanted, this being Sensa versus DNA.
No. I mean, really? You can kind of see when I'm free that I'm rapping dope. You're standing here on the stage trying to act like you're a couple of massive blokes. But if you'd have gave me 3 days preparation, you know that I would have stand here on this stage as a pro, spat my bars for you, then body bagged you both.
See, I'm going with this freestyle shit. So I just mean how I play, and you're right, I said it against Disaster. You gotta mean what you say. See, you can say how I said the London slang is gay, and that's cool, because that might get you respect. But see, I'm gonna mention how you joked about Reese Jones after he died, so I guess we both got some shit we regret.
First main event, crowd's been waiting the day all long. This is an awesome battle, right?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I'm wrong here. Is DNA the reason that Arsenal came across the battle shotty? Because Sensa mentioned you can't come to the UK without your friend,
right? And
I think that DNA wouldn't come unless Arsenal came and got a battle. So I was thinking, if it weren't for this battle, then there wouldn't be Arsenal shotty, like the fucking top dog of battles on Don't Flop. So, but yeah, DNA Sensa, fucking such a good battle. I've eventually noticed, I only watched this once when it was released. I've never rewatched it again. So I was able to pick up a few. I think Big J once said he keeps the ear to his hood like Sensa. I eventually got that because Sensa, when he puts his hood up at around the time.
That's hard.
This was Sensa's 15th battle as well. He started the round off with "Your mother's disabled."
You gotta have those those classic opening lines of novels, etc. Yeah, it does stick with you. Her motion going back and forward like DNA. It kind of plays on obvious stereotypes well. The Martin Luther line that he drops gets kicked off of a huge flip by DNA.
Yeah, I never knew that was in his first. I always thought watching that was like mid second or third. I never knew that was his first. So that really just got the fucking crowd with him from the very beginning.
Is this the original Buckingham in Your Palace?
I think it is.
Yeah, I
think it is. Because I didn't see too many face palms in the crowd, so
no,
I was thinking maybe it's
I thought
not.
That as well, yeah. Make him do a Big Ben when I give UKs. What?
Yeah. You know what? It's just the Americans' geography. I was watching that Big T when he thought Amsterdam was in the UK. These Americans really need to fucking work on the geographical locations within the UK. But they it's something you'd expect. Buckingham. You hear it so many times. But that's one thing they will go for, especially with like a big URL battler. You'll find somewhere you can reference a gun or a text, something, etc. But for it being the first, it wasn't too bad. But I think the way it's been played on, fucking this thingy. But it was quite funny. After he said the rebuttal, Arsenal was just like, talk that shit, like fucking really hyping the shit up. Scheme in the end, and what was that funny saying? His mum's legs look like they've been tackled by Roy Keane.
Right. Well, it's a lad image,
Yeah.
CRs in the hood guarantee you'll all change. It's garbled, but because it's new, was this actually was DNA the first URL battler on Don't Flop soil?
I think he was.
Maybe Big Cannon.
I was going to say, I think, because obviously Big Cannon went against Tenshu, didn't he, on Blood in the Water, I think.
Yeah,
I think it might be Big Cannon actually.
No, Big Cannon was before that, definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
And obviously, he came back.
Maybe Big Cannon, but still, one of few.
One of the few, exactly. One of the few, and then DNA's sick on the floor, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Is there footage of that anywhere?
You sort of see a brief glimpse of it. You see like a little splash of it itself, but
I haven't found it. All I can reference is the fucking evil sickle.
It happens.
I haven't seen it. Obviously, it was referenced in about 3 different battles actually. So it was definitely happened. But I haven't seen the footage. But I guess he went ahead with it and he gave a fucking good performance in the end. I think one of the standout ones here was the Rio de Janeiro father figure overlooking your life. That's
amazing.
Like, it's so sick. People. I remember someone saying that was a little forced, but I thought it was sick. I thought it was a really, really good bar.
I mean, the setup's a little, whatever, but still, it works.
Yeah,
it pulls off. Christ the Redeemer, is that him up there? I think. But
Sensa
goes at Arsenal as well, saying that he body bagged them both.
He got right in their face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Race
swag.
I
like that shit, man. I like that shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't handle Jones like Bernard Hopkins. That was sick. If you're a boxing fan, you know that. Like, obviously John Jones and Bernard Hopkins. What was that one? Rebuttaling white people need black, saying they needed ours to come with them. Oh no, that was just mentioned in the whole shotty thing. Yeah,
sure.
In his rebuttal, saying that you had to have a friend to come with you because you're a pussy, etc., etc. The Sensa scheme about DNA faking all the guns and RPG army children has died, and mentioning all the fucking bad shit in the world that happens,
suicidal ex-soldiers, and
fuck me, fucking goes in. It really does go in for it, and it was fucking really sick. For some reason, I've got down AstroTurf, just AstroTurf.
AstroTurf. I think it's just. Yeah, his hair looks like AstroTurf, actually.
Oh, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Worldwide, real soldiers will continue fighting tonight, hoping their mothers don't get a call telling them one of their children have died. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sense.
You have to play the pity game on that one, man. You really have to fucking go for him.
And then DNA pulls something out of the pocket that perhaps his first two didn't really indicate he was going to do. He has essentially a concept round. He's doing a sort of Buckingham Palace. He's taking quite an obvious moniker of our culture, but he does it quite well. He does it quite tastefully. It'd be interesting to see the reverse. If one of the UK shy went over there and mentioned some shooting or something. You know what I mean? It'd be hard to, but for some reason it works. Really, really well. And he's talking about Reece Jones.
Yeah, I think. I've listened to you and Sensa's review. I've fucking
classic.
Know all about it. Yeah, such a good.
He's the man. I need to get him back on. Yeah,
Sensa's really good, man. I mean, it happened. You have to look past that. I think with everything that came with that bar, I was hoping it wouldn't get mentioned again because it's just it's just airing it out more and all that stuff. But what happened? I think DNA had to look at that and think, I can play on that so much. You know what I mean? Like that's a big downfall for what Sensa said. He did play on it. I don't know how long he did it for. Was it like over like?
It's pretty much the close.
Third round ending, pretty much just.
Yeah. Someone joked about it. I'd want to kill you more than the actual killer.
Yeah.
Which again, then, would you? But still.
Yeah, that. DNA finished. I don't know if he finished it off, but mentioning he gave me Sensa because Ur couldn't get the job done, and I could just imagine Ur sat there, quaking his boots like I just been fucking owned. You know what I mean? Just like he's got me there, I guess. That was still a cracking battle though. Ur and DNA, man, good battle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, love that battle. We hear some jest in the end as well in the music, which is cool. Obviously huge jest fan. Shout out Jonathan Rimmer. Me and him do this show on the channel infrequently, all about jest, called Gesticulations. Definitely check that out. But we get no closing interview, as maybe it was the end, towards the end. It's getting emotional now for in the final battle of day one, the title match, 476k. This is Tony D versus Oshea.
I'm gonna end this round on some jokes that are fucking hilarious. The only time I say blood is when I'm sucking blood out your mother's period. With a straw. Listen, I fucking hate you cockney bellends. With all your rhyme and slang and your mad words. You'd probably go to a German restaurant and order a fucking bratwurst.
Bruv, she's a top slosher, knob washer. And for the 9 months she carried you, a nickname for you was cock blocker. but not because it stopped her putting her hole about, man. Because you showed defensive bruising on your forearms in the ultrasound scan.
First of all, if no one's seen Kruger's edited version of this, it is fucking insane. There's an edited version, mainly sort of, it just references every bar, and he's got like a video of it, and he fucking places it brilliantly. Also, Dialect had a really good track in the intro as well, so big up Dialect. the D in Tony D stands for dickhead. You know, such a great fucking opener. O'Shea's. That can't be right. O'Shea's 26th battle. I think that was O'Shea's 26th battle, but that's when they had the record on the little preview of the. So that was pretty.
Love that.
Cool. I was thinking House Out Potpourri. I didn't even know what Potpourri was, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going with it. And then I was like, I know what Potpourri is now. Looked up. 4 or more snails on your back, snail orgy.
Snail orgy, yeah. I think Oshea is an incredible first. The more I watch this battle, and I think overall I am a bigger Tony D fan, but I think Oshea won this. Rewatching it, I've watched this so many times. I think Oshea took it. Okay.
But I was always towards Tony because that was the kind of point. I think when I started watching Don't Flop, I was too young to understand bars, so I was always on the side of the Joker. And obviously Oshea was the top guy back then, so I was always sort of towards Oshea in battles. But even now, if I was to go back, I'd probably understand a bar more than I would back then, because Tony came with so many fucking good bars, like so many quotables, and as did Oshea. But I would give probably 2-1 to Oshea. I'd say fucking good performance by Oshea at all.
Yeah, I just think it's the third for me. It's Tony's third. I don't think it's aged very well.
Nah, I don't know if people reference that shit a lot, really. But still, I mean, you just have to look at how Tony's taken this on his stride. I think, what was it, three defenses he took unbeaten or something like that, or was it 2?
Yeah, very few. Yeah,
Tony's the guy. Tony's really humble as well, man. I met Tony at the when he battled Respect BA. He's a really good guy. The third round. What else have I got written down? I'm not a racist. I got at least 3 DVDs starring Morgan Freeman.
Sure.
So much fucking that whole. What's the grab your cancel winner nan and blow blunt smoke at her and stuff.
Timeless.
Like that. Yeah. And fucking Kruger's reaction to that as well. If you fucking zoom on on him, he's really going for it. Yeah, I wrote down that Oshea had a really, really strong third. But Tony has this sort of swagger, this calm and composed sort of thing, and Tony just he just so content, and he just really rocks the stage. He's got this persona about him, just such slick character, and he's so good. Wave more sticks than 100 wizards. That's just so O'Shea, man. The only villain he knows is the albino. This is one.
Yeah, it's just a thing. Tony just falls into some of Oshea's traps, I feel, sometimes. Like, Osh talks about his irrelevant scheming, and then he does some good stuff. He talks about his Fellaini, which is, quite impressive, but...
to be honest, I'm surprised 100 Bullets didn't do that.
Yeah. He would have been in the background like, damn!
Yeah. This is on Reddit. There's a whole thing on this, not understand what it means. Semtex shoulder barge. I've tried to research it as much as I can. Yeah. I don't understand what it means. No one's answered to the guy that was on Reddit, so I don't think anyone else. But then again, who looks it up? But I'll try to look through the comments to understand what it means. I don't really understand the reference. I don't know if you do at all.
No, it means to me some sort of incendiary barge, but I can't see a second meaning really.
Right.
Maybe
I don't know.
Could be some record or some sort of book, or I don't know. Tony can go quite obscure, but then again, why would it get such a big reaction? I mean, he does a golf scheme as well to be more on the level. Oshea says in his third, nice one for confirming everything I said in round two.
Yeah, round 2.
He does a couple of midgets coming up. Because the problem is, I saw some crappy King of the Dot battler. I want to say it was like Casper the Ghost, or I can't really remember that guy or whatever his name was. Do a Wetmore Wang the Rain in China bar, and it made me think, is it more common? And like, it is on jokes. I'm not saying Tony stole it, but it's kind of got a familiarity that robs it for me.
Yeah, I think I've heard that reference on a few other battles. But that's just one of, again, so many different fucking random shit that Oshea can just come up with. Also, it was nice to see Oshea with water in his hand and not a beer. You know what I mean? You never really see that. come to your own title match as the underdog. I was slept on. That was really fucking good. More wet wang than Rain in China and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
the whole defensive bruising.
Yeah. I had a really good thing about how big London is. He was bigging up Liverpool, and he was like, getting from A to B in London is solid as fuck. In Liverpool, I just get on a bus. You know what I mean? So, he had some good stuff there. And he's like, dating, motherfucker. He's like, just fucking.
Yeah. That Smith down shit. It's 5-2 to Tony. Which is, quite surprising. Cool to see my man Saurus. I call him my man. Obviously, it was just a great episode. But shout out to Saurus. He defends it, man. He is one of those guys that Osh won. Like he goes against the grain.
Yeah. This is happening in Dublin, I think. O'Shea versus Thesaurus. That's happening not too long, and that's going to be a fucking cracking. That's going to be such a good battle. I think Thesaurus is someone, obviously, probably the most experienced person in the venue alone, within battles. So he knows what a crowd can pander to, and I think he's seen it like I see it now with O'Shea is winning. But Tony had such a. I always feel if Tony had a fucking excellent ending on round 3, it'll make the judges really think, because he had that whole con scheme. And that con scheme was fucking insane. Such a good scheme. And I'm sure Thesaurus fucked with that as well. But yeah, I think Thesaurus sees it now as I would, in terms that O'Shea probably did take the battle. But then again, you might be a jokes over bars person. You might be a bars over jokes. So it can come down to your personal preference in the end. But now I do see it as O'Shea taking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so as well. But then again, Tony was a champion that made sense for the times, perhaps, to ride out to a new era that forth. But not that O'Shea diminished in influence, but, really Tony D took a major turn. I remember watching this battle at the time, be like, who's Tony D? Like, I was a bit ignorant, really. And I think this, further on, established him as, still he's one of the heaviest hitters around.
I think I'm sort of pissed off that he lost to him that day, because leading up to the 4th birthday event, and probably up until I'm trying to think when Tony really badly lost in the UK. Like, I can't really give a time where he badly lost, but he could have been one of those, the Gemini, the unbeaten guy. But the fact that he's battled for so long, that would become much more impressive. But you always expect such a great performance from Tony, regardless of what stage, what event. Maybe not so much real deal, but in the end, he's such a good performer, and it's his life. You know what I mean? He's fucking experiencing this stuff. Poison at Poets and stuff like that. He's had so much experience with it. So he's a legend, Tony D.
Yeah, unbelievably so. And that brings us to the end of day 1 of 4th birthday, which is a fucking. What a set of battles we've gone through so far. Like, unbelievable, really. So good. I hope it's encouraged you guys listening to go back and revisit them, because they are absolutely brilliant. Me and Kieron will be back very soon to go through day 2, all the same stuff. We've got so many good battles to get into. Everything from, Saurus Matter to Adam versus Ogmios to Jeff versus Caustic.
Yeah, so it's, can't wait for that one.
Oh, man. We'll be there soon. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. At battlerapresume, battlerapresume@gmail.com if you want to come on the show, if you want to correspond with me. Patreon.com as well, patreon.com/battlerapresume. Everything on the channel goes in there first, so if you want to support, that is really greatly appreciated. We have hats as well. We have beanies at the moment, so I'll put the link in the description. Big Cartel, Battle Rap Resume, whatever it is. Search them. They're on the Instagram, they're on the Twitter, at Battle Resume. Kieron, this has been a delight, man, to have you on the show, bro.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I love the platform on Patreon as well, so I'm always looking out for that. It's great. It's great to be on, and really appreciate what you do.
Of course, man. Of course. Well, I'm going to see you very shortly. We're going to cover day 2. So if you guys want to listen as well, definitely check that out.